Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Turtle and we just received patch notes for today's update and it's bigger than I anticipated, both in file size and amount of changes that have been pushed into today's patch, that I was honestly hoping some of those will only hit the December patch and not yet now, but here we go. There is a lot of them. I will not read every single one. Like, there's a lot of minor changes and bug fixes that do not affect everyone and mostly maybe even didn't realize the bugs were there. But there's a lot of small bugs, a lot of them related to workshop menu. Feel free to read every single one. I want to focus mainly on the ones that are impactful for the gameplay, the actual gameplay, and for the builders, those are impactful too, so feel free to check those out. There's some help menu additional changes, which is good, then a bunch of items fixes, mainly related to Atom Shop items. One of the good changes, remove the Blood Punch Ball from being buildable in shelters, which is great, because that's a dispenser we need to interact for unique challenges around Halloween. The fact that people were able to hide them in shelters was so much harder to interact with them, so that was not perfect. No, you cannot hide them in shelters, they need to be in your camp. Another change is mostly stuff removed from the shelter. The stuff that shouldn't be buildable there is no longer buildable in the shelters. Combat changes. Not so many, but first, enemies will now display the correct icon for bleeding beneath their health bar. Nuke silo mainframe cores should now be damaged by explosions. Fix an issue causing Scourge Beasts to focus on their audio scream attack. I call it Sonic Scream, I don't know why they call it audio scream, it sounds off. Do you agree with me? Sonic Scream attack sounds way more intuitive than audio scream attack? Maybe that's just me, but it's good that they will focus on them less. Ship Shard poison damage will now correctly scale with the player's level, which is good. I don't exactly know what was incorrect scaling. I'm pretty sure it was scaling. Maybe too good? Not entirely sure. A bunch of fixes related to events, including Mischief Night, that I'm pretty sure it's over right now, so it's for the next year fix, most likely. Mothman Equinox fix for lore books. Jailbreak will now count for public events that for some reason was not counting. Skeleton costume is now sellable to NPCs. How impactful that is, I don't know. The Freezing Touch mutation now deals cryo damage. So that mutation only was slowing you down in daily ops. Now it does cryo damage. Next, remove the armor penetration and increase damage effects from decryption. And enemies are now higher level than you would normally encounter. So the decryption was reworked, which in reality means it will be easier to tank. I think that's what it means. We'll see. We'll need to try that. I was not realized they're doing anything with daily ops. A bunch of fixes to the Big Bloom as this event is coming, so that's good. And then important, the gameplay ones and perks ones, the most important fixes. Becoming immune to fall damage while not in power armor now always prevents the stagger animation. That's very handy. All cryo damage now has a unified effect that slows the target and drains action points. This effect scales up the more cryo damage the target takes and recovers over time when the target isn't taking cryo damage. Cryo resistance also plays a role in how quickly the status effect is built up and recovers. Weapons and effects that caused a slowing effect now deal cryo damage instead. So no more pure slow effects on weapons. Those weapons now have cryo damage added, which is a buff overall. We'll see how many weapons will benefit from that and how much. It's to be tested, but that sounds like a straight up buff to cryo weapons. Fix a bug where applying slow effects to a target could make them move very fast, and this bug they fixed already previously, so I don't know why it's listed here. Rat damage is no longer recovered to a minimum value when loading into the world. Rat damage is still recovered to a minimum value when respawning. This also applies to Glow for Ghouls, which is awesome fix. That means that bloodied builds that need to have their health fixed at around 20% will have it fixed at around 20% even when they spawn to a new world. It will not reset the radiation level. Fix an issue where damaging auras would not deal any damage in certain cases. Fix an issue where players could be stuck in a state where their AP constantly drains. So that's a good fix. Perks. Cryo damage should now correctly trigger the Deal Scylla perk. Waterrat's perk can now only be equipped by humans, which makes sense, as if Ghoul equips that, it will just eat the glow. Fix an issue on the special page which displayed 0 unused points over full categories. Special loadout managers should now perform better when scrolling. Oh, they removed the lag? That would be very nice. Blood Sacrifice. AP should no longer continue to drain health while outside of VATS. The cloak icon should now be displayed for Escape Artist and Chameleon. Twisted Muscles penalties to VATS accuracy and Cone of Fire are now reduced by the Class Freak perk card. Pretty sure they were already, or maybe there was a bug. Four-Leaf Clover now grants the correct amount of crit meta for multiple projectile weapons. That's very important fix. It was causing basically Four-Leaf Clover to be useless for shotguns. Now it should work as intended. Fast Fighter change. Now grants 50% of your movement speed above 100. In other words, your bonus movement speed as reload speed. In live game version, the Fast Fighter, up to dispatch, Fast Fighter was just giving you 30% of your total movement speed as reload speed. So that's a nerf. As let's say you used to have regular movement speed, Fast Fighter was already giving you 30% reload speed bonus. Now to achieve that, you need to have 160% movement speed. So that's a nerf to Fast Fighter. Life Giver. Fix an issue where players could die when unequipping this perk card. Fix an issue where the player's health could be incorrect and overlapping the RATS portion of the health bar when this perk card was equipped. Hopefully that's actually fixed. It is connected to the stat log, so I'm not sure about this fix. They didn't mention stat log at all, and stat log was not fixed on latest version of test servers. I'm not sure how well will that work. Night Eyes reduced to 1 point, the cost. Number Cruncher now applies to weapon dot effects. That should help a lot with the cremator builds. Deal Scylla. Cryo Slow now counts as an impairment for this perk. Poison Aura effects now correctly inflict poison impairment. United Ordeal now shows in the Pip-Boy effects tab when active. Rat Sponge. Thirst and Hunger should no longer be restored at different rates. Increase the rate at which Thirst and Hunger are restored. So that's a buff to Rat Sponge. Good with Salt moved from Luck to Intelligence. Curator moved from Luck to Intelligence. I was thinking that's gonna be December patch, but they're doing it already. Tightly Wound. Animation speed should no longer reset when entering or exiting power armor. So that's a fix where all heavy gunners, all heavy gunners have been waiting for. Not necessarily all players, but all heavy gunners. That's a huge fix, such a huge help that this perk will work. Bloody Mess. Fix an issue that would allow this to proc on bleed immune targets, so no more Bloody Mess explosions on robots, in other words. Miscellaneous changes. Some translation changes. Some minor fixes. Okay, Bubblehead displays proper name. There's a lot of very small changes that are just visuals. I will not read them all. Oh, Light Machine Gun for prime receivers. Plans no longer keep dropping once you learn them. That's supposed to be like that, so they fixed that. Improve VFX to better match damage inflicted by explosions. Improve to all weapons. To which weapons? This is mysterious one, to be honest. Fix crash on the loading screen. I didn't experience this one. Oh no. Silver extractors will produce silver ore again instead of scrap. Scrap is more handy as you don't need to melt it. Although I don't really see people using silver extractors. Mutations. Bird Bones now displays its full damage reduction in Pip-Boy, and now the big one. Fix a bug where herbivore and carnivore mutations could be acquired at the same time. If you currently have both mutations, they will be removed from your character. Yep. Megavore is gone. It was fun when it lasted. Quest. Reading the Sacred Tomes of the Mothman now correctly progressed the hidden quest. Weapon. A bunch of weapon fixes and changes. Mods. Damage from explosive launchers with the 2-shot legendary mode is no longer duplicated. I don't know what they mean by that, but currently on the live game there is a bug causing reduced damage from 2-shot explosive launchers, not increased by reduced, so I'm hoping they just implemented the fix that was on the latest test server, causing 2-shot missile launchers and other 2-shot launchers to actually do increased damage compared to non-legendary and not reduced one. So hopefully that's a proper fix and we are able to use 2-shot. The mysterious note here does not match the game. I think just a mistake whoever was typing. Was a little bit confused what they fixed. Covert Ops magazine now states it correct effect. Bonus damage against humans. Magazine issue, they didn't list which issue, like all Covert Ops magazine? That doesn't make sense. Cremator now deals the same damage after changing the color of the chemical fuel. What? There was a bug with different colors to reduce damage? Okay, I did not even realize that was a thing. They give benefit to Alien Blaster Cryo mod when you have explosive legendary mode. Was that bug? It's supposed to be benefit. A lot of those changes, I'm not sure what's going on, and the notes do not help, let's be honest. Certain weapons should no longer increase in size as you scroll through their mods. cool one. Some ceremonial mace skin. Remove debug text from Chameleon and Stealth Boy mods. The cryo mod for the compound bow now receives contextual arrows. Bleed damage has been added to the cosmic knife. Oh, that makes sense, so maybe cosmic knife will no longer be useless. The durability legendary mod now correctly reduces but does not remove durability loss when attacking enemies. That's a big nerf to durability. To very popular combo to run durability mod and polished. Now they will be taking damage. The Gatling Plasma Stinging Core receptacle now correctly nodes as piercing. Iceman's 4-star legendary mod effects have been replaced with 20% extra cryo damage. So this is a good one for melee now. That's melee exclusive if you're not familiar. It was useless, it was slow on VATS hits, which no one was using, but now it's 20% extra cryo damage that you can add to any melee weapon. Weapons will no longer experience a delay in firing after being reloaded when using effects that increase reload speed. And that's a mysterious one. I was testing that on test server with the Dragon, and I was able to switch weapon and fire, and then on latest test server update, it reverted and I wasn't able to fire after switching a weapon. So I don't know what exactly they fixed and which version we are getting in here. Light machine gun no longer adds rifle tag to the weapon. The Stoka mod can now be attached to melee weapons, and the Miasma mod has been reworked to always deal poison damage to nearby targets, similar to the Plague Walker mutation. That can be slight improvement. We'll need to test the Miasma mod. Maybe useful now? Who knows? Improve the cryo effects for multiple weapons. Curious. Players should no longer be able to continue to use auto melee weapons after running out of AP. Improve the ability to target bee swarms with VATS. Nuka-Cola ammo is now an explosive ammo type. Some UI changes. Hopefully good ones. UI is not really something affect your gameplay, but how stuff is showing. So less important, but still in here. If you want to read it all, feel free to do that. The one important fix, but I don't really know if that was ever a problem on live, so that's worth to mention here maybe. Fix a display issue where Number Cruncher would increase the Pip-Boy damage values more than expected. That was unique to one and only version that was ever presented on test server, that was never live. So I don't know why this note is here. If that bug never affected live game version, why would the fix be included? Okay, that's a mystery. Some of those patch notes are the mystery, but here you go. We'll be testing that and running the mini-season that's starting today. So hopefully see you soon. Thank you a lot for watching, and see you in the next one. Or live.